Hello there. Welcome to the Manifestation Kitchen podcast, where I open our cooking pots so inspirational geniuses who heal the world with food, words, touch, and movement, that they can add their ingredients for our culinary pleasure of the soul. I am your host, Victoria Dioh, and today we are welcoming the incredible, the inspirational Loren Lahav. Now, Loren is a mom of four, most importantly, that's her first role. Secondly, she is a wife. And next, she is a businesswoman. Now, we are honored to have her on the show today because she's literally just come off the stage after hosting Life Mastery for Tony Robbins, where she's literally transformed the lives of thousands of people, connecting them not only to their hearts, but also to their souls, and transforming how they live their lives moving forward. So let's jump in and see what else she's got to say. Speak to you soon.
Hey, so hello everybody, and yes, here she is, Loren Lahav. Welcome.
Hello, beautiful. How are you?
Oh,
I miss your energy.
I miss you. And like I said just before we came on, that I want to say, thanks so much for coming, because I know you've literally just come off stage doing Life and Wealth, and I'm like, girl. Seriously? I didn't even think that Life and Wealth would be on. Otherwise, I'd have said, do it later. You need more energy. But you're the energizer bunny. You've got...
That's right.
Yeah. So...
I've even done 2 workouts since then. That's the thing that impresses me more. Talking on an interview, that's no big deal. But getting my butt up to go exercise at like 7 in the morning, that impressed me. That's what impressed me.
And then you've also, I saw that you've also been on the cleanse as well at Life Mastery. So you took part in the cleanse.
I did the cleanse before. I was, my belief is you can't take someone somewhere you've never been yourself. And it was a different cleanse. So it was a liver cleanse, and I loved it. It was with Anthony William. He put together the menu, the food menu, the medical medium. I loved it so much that I actually wanted to stay on the cleanse. And had the celery juice this morning, my lemon water this morning, and treating myself with an iced tea because I'm with you today. But loved it. And I also, the night before the program actually started, they, instead of doing the polls of the program, they decided to do the ice bath with everybody kind of as the stretch. And they had KK and Luke were doing that. And there was a part of me, I was kind of sad. And because I wasn't scheduled for me to do the ice bath. And my friend Matt Murphy, who actually created the studio, he looked at me and goes, Loren, there is more ice in there if you want to go. And I dropped my pants. It was hilarious. I guess somebody took a picture of me dropping my pants and my boots and my American Express card. And I jumped in. And so then I felt 1,000% congruent, because for me, that's what it's all about, Anyway.
I love that. And, for me, I met you 2019 in Tenerife, and I saw you. The moment I saw you, like I literally, I was just like, wow. Now here is a woman who speaks her truth. Here's a woman, like, you come on and the first thing you say is, I'm a mom of 4. Before anything else, I'm a mom of 4. Not only are you a mom of 4, you're a mom of 4 entrepreneurs. You're a mom of 4 inspirational beings, right?
Yeah. And I think that's really it for me. It's like, and you've heard me say it before as well, and I just put a video up about it. It's like, my belief is we need to be the heroes our kids seek in the world. That they look and they go, that's my mom. And that she's walking her talk. That they're not looking for other, it's wonderful that there's so many people that are inspirations, but that they look at you as one of those top ones. And that's always been my, if at the end of my life, they say, she was an amazing mom, that because she walked her talk, then I feel like I've done my job. And so that's always inspired me. My kids are unbelievable. My eldest son, it's been a challenging time just because he was living in New York and he had a plan, and, so many things just happened. But I'm really proud of him for kind of going through that, what I would call rediscovery process. I think there's a stage of like, figuring out who you are, then staying true to who you are. Then life happens and you have to rediscover who you are. Right. And then it's getting back and getting reconnected. And so, yeah, they're amazing entrepreneurs. He's a gemologist. He's a videographer. I don't know, he's at a cacao retreat in Nicaragua right now. And his brother, is, he's in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and he's a huge Instagram influencer, but an influencer who actually has influence. Right.
Right.
And then my daughter, my little one, she is 13 and she's all about, she's had a slime company. She's had a freaking jewelry company. Who knows what else she's going to do? Always raising money. And then I have a bonus daughter who's in medical school right now. So yeah, I'm very, very proud of them.
Yeah. And one thing I love about you, Loren, is the level of consistency. I mean, I watch you all the time. I pretty much stalk you because it'll be 2:00 here and I'm going, yay. And you're talking about something or you're creating something new, or you're telling people what you're going through. I love your vulnerability. And it's so interesting because back in 2019, when you told us this, I don't think any of us really understood what it meant. But you said something about your hard times will make you stronger.
Yeah.
And let them not be your shackles. Let them make you stronger.
Yeah. And it's funny because I did an interview a couple weeks ago, and a lady I've known for a really long time. She goes, Loren, you really embrace the hard, right? You really look at it I heard Bear Grylls speak many, many years ago, because everybody's got an Everest, everybody's got an Everest. Somebody's be an Everest in their relationship. Somebody else, it might be an Everest in their health or in their finances, but everybody's got an Everest. And I think that I was talking about when I decided to do the Alaska Marathon, I knew it was going to be hard. I knew I would just show up. I'm not a runner. And but I knew it was going to be hard, but it was going to be during that hard that I was going to really grow the most. So, and that's what Bear Grylls said. He goes, when I decided to climb Mount Everest, I knew I was going to have to train. I knew there were going to be crappy times, but that's the part that's where the stories come from. That's where the grit comes from. That's where the, I don't know. I look back. I mean, just 10 minutes ago, before we got on this, I was talking to a friend of mine, and a friend of mine, she was coming over to come to a conference, and I was going through my divorce at the time, and it was $2,000 for her flight from Australia here to the United States. And then she went back to Australia and she said, okay, I'm ready to get going. And I'm like, oh my God, now I have to fly to Australia. Now it's going to be another $2,500, to fly back over to Australia. And my friend Suzanne, who is a dentist in Northern California, I was like, I assumed everything was all good with her. And I'm like, hey, Suzanne, can I borrow $2,500? And she goes, okay, Loren, but you have to pay me back at the end of, at the beginning of the month. I'm like, of course. She goes, no, Loren, you have to pay me back. And I'm like, okay, well, what's the big deal? And then I didn't find out. This was just, so that was 10 years ago. And find out until 2 years ago, Suzanne said, Loren, there's something I didn't tell you. She goes, I borrowed that $2,500.
Oh my God.
You could borrow that $2,500. And I think, I told that on a Clubhouse a couple days ago, and I couldn't believe how many people that made such a huge impact on. When we don't know what's going, I always say, ask yourself, maybe there's something I don't know. We don't know some parts that people are going through. So yeah, I know it's a long answer, but I think you really do have to embrace the hard in a way where you're just like, all right. I talk about the book, my favorite little book, The Prayer of Jabez. It's the first line, God bless me indeed, right? The second line, expand my territory. That means make you more, that you can handle more in your life. So that's what it's about for me.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I every time I speak to you, I cover my face because I'm in such amazement. And one of the reasons why I actually got you onto this podcast is because I see you as a healer. I said to you before, I was like, I'm sure you're so highly intuitive. You just don't talk about it, but or you use it in different ways. And you said something like, oh, I think you posted something once that said, what do you think about me? Or what do you remember that post? It was something like, what do you think about me? Or
I just asked everybody what they thought about me, actually, because I'm working on a new book right now.
Yes.
The top 3 things that, and people, I didn't say I'm writing a new book, but how you know I'm writing a new book. And I was like, what are the 3 things that when you think about me? And I was saying to my friend who works with me, she's amazing. And I was saying the difference between, everybody wrote confident, like everybody wrote confident. I was telling her that there's a real difference between confidence and self-confidence.
Yep.
Self-confident is like, I'm doing this for me. You can be confident in the skill, but there's a difference between self-confident and just confident in a habit. So for me, I want to be known as being really, really self-confident. If there's anything that I could teach people, it would be that. Like, I have always been kind of the wild card throughout my, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, there she goes again. Yeah, I'm like, and instead of when I hear that being like, oh God, what are they thinking? And I'm like, heck yeah, man, here I go again. That's right. There we go. And so, anyway, I guess that's kind of like I would say. But
yeah. But I remember actually saying to you, I was like, you're highly intuitive. I know it. You're highly intuitive. Like, I was like, I can smell it. This woman is definitely highly intuitive. And you just smiled. You just smiled. And one of the things I say is that you heal so many people, not only when you've spoken in so many countries. I know you sort of like taking your message out to, is it 175 countries? And
I think, it's intuition is a beautiful, I think that, they say intuition is into you, I see.
Yes.
Right? Into you, I see. And I think for me, there's always been this curiosity. I grew up as a little Jewish girl in the South. And that was not fun, just so you know.
Right.
55 years old, and back then, there were parts of my town that no blacks, no Jews, no whatever were allowed in certain parts of my town. And so I felt that people didn't see me,
Wow.
And so, and what I mean by that is my parents were such great examples of really taking the time to be curious and to really listen. And I think if people want to get more intuitive, they need to shut up, and they need to just listen. And then a part of them will into you, I see, based on like that feeling of, being true, even without reasoning or, just stop and just be and just listen and be aware of what's going on. And there's so many ways, I think, that just that's what I see when I think of intuition. I think of into you, I see. And whenever I walk in a room, I just feel it. I walk in and I just like feel where it feels heavy in a room. I feel where it feels in a room, and I go, okay, how do I feel? How do I take this and use this into how I deliver a message?
Yes.
And so I really do, Tenerife was hard because I don't know if you remember, it was felt like there was no air conditioning in the room.
Yeah, that's right.
And
that's right. I remember that.
Understand like how that can affect you as a presenter. But I really had to tap more into my intuition because there were so many things in the outside world that were that pull you to take your attention away from your intuition. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because conditioning is not working. That this isn't working. People are this and that. All that does is cause you to disconnect from your intuition.
Completely. And maybe that's what I picked up as well, because it's something that I have told my clients moving forward, which is focus focus on the end result rather than what's going on around you, and just focus like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to sort of like get this message across? Do you see so many painful people in this room that you need to help them? Or are you going to focus on the air condition, because then that distracts you from what you're trying to achieve?
Yep,
and
yep.
I just want to say
more
sorry,
about,
go on.
it's I think what's different is it's different than thinking, right?
Yes.
Because thinking is logic or analysis, if you would.
Yeah.
And intuition is a knowing without knowing.
Yeah.
So we want to, like in this world, we talk about those 3 levels of mastery, right? Like intellectual mastery. Like people get so stuck in that intellectual mastery that they can't even get into the intuitive part, because they don't allow themselves to go to that and trust themselves enough. My whole mission is about staying true to yourself, right? So that's what, to me, intuition is. Am I listening to me? Am I listening to that knowingness that I got this, or am I listening to all the noise, right?
Yes.
Where I should put energy. Should I put my energy into focusing on the air conditioning?
Yeah.
Right? Or should I put my energy into how do I connect? Right. Where do you put your energy? I guess is what I would say.
Yeah. Is that your dog?
There's 2 of them. Are they here?
I can hear them. I can hear them. And I'm like, they're dogs. There's dogs there. So what sort of dogs have you got?
We have Rottweilers.
Have you? Oh
yes,
my God.
We got them right when this whole crazy time in the world. They're amazing dogs. They're just all heart. So maybe they'll come up and see you in a minute.
Yeah, come and say hello. So one of the things that I notice as well is that you not only do you maintain a relationship with your lovely husband, your mama bear, but also stuff. It's like you're running all these businesses, and you talk about the badass. I love the beautifully unapologetic academy. I love all of that. And for people who are trying to make it big and stay and keep that sort of like environment around them, because you have friends, and I hear you talk about your friends a lot, to be able to keep that and still be successful. And, not only do you work for Tony, but you actually run Life Mastery pretty much on your own, most of the time.
It was a really cool thing, I think, this last time. So I have my own businesses, and Tony and Sage asked us to launch Life Mastery over 19 years ago. So we launched the program in Fiji. We were doing about 36 week-long programs a year. So we did that for 2.5 years. And since yesterday was Groundhog Day or whatever, it felt like Groundhog Day because, a new group would come in. We'd fall in love with those people, and then a new group came in. And I loved what I did. I loved it. It was awesome. But I felt there was a part of me. I was like, I see a lot of women come to the event. And like I said, I guess I was pretty intuitive, but sometimes back then I didn't listen as much to my knowingness. And I'm like, I need to go home, because I see a lot of women going, that was great, but who am I at my core?
Right.
And I want to get back to helping women. I mean, now it's like everybody's doing it. Let me guess. You're a coach. No, let me guess. No, let me guess. You're doing a women's group, which is awesome. It's wonderful. But the one thing that I've learned, and I kind of poo-pooed for a long time, let me go. So I started doing these events called Lobella, and we focus on inside beauty and outside beauty. And now we have the Badass and Beautiful Academy. So you've got to be a part of it with us. So we're going to accept a limited number of women in it. And then I'm going to pull some people to kind of be the faculty, full-time faculty, because I think I know the best of the best in the world, and I know who's really living it in their life, and I know who's not living it in their life. So I want to provide an academy really where ladies can plug in and know they're going to get the best of the best. So that's my big focus right now, is really launching that academy. But what I've learned is, I think that everybody pushes, they want it yesterday. Do you know what I mean? They want the big business to happen, and they're not willing to really do. We were talking about this yesterday. One of my principles is really, you got to be patiently persistent. I have freaking been doing this for a long time. I was talking to Bob Proctor, and I said, Bob, I owe you a huge apology. He goes, what? I said, about just time in the trenches, you know, like you can't, once again, we go back to, you shouldn't take somebody somewhere that you haven't been. I mean, I've been through a lot, you know, not like, but I also call on those other people. If I haven't been through it, I'll call on my other faculty to help and give them the resources of people I know who've been through it. Like I shared with you, my middle son, he goes, Mom, you've been doing it right. And I go, what do you mean, Quinn? I've been doing it right. He goes, you know, people have been trying so hard to build their Instagram pages and find fake followers. And I mean, you can tell when it's fake, right? Like you can tell when they've got like 10,000 likes and 2 comments. Hello,
right.
Oh, Quinn's like said to me, he goes, it's awesome, Mom, because the people that follow you on Instagram and Facebook, like, you know them, like I know them. Like I went through my 5,000 friends, and I was pretty dang proud to say I know probably 90% of them. That's pretty good. You know, I mean, I could tell you one thing about 4,000 of the people that are on my page. So I would rather have deep relationships with people. I would rather just really know that I'm helping people along the way than just like a superficial thing. So I think you're hearing about it now. And like he said the more about being a micro influencer, and that's what I would encourage people to do, to really focus on building people that they really like, they love what you do, and they love how you help them grow. And there's this, you know, this beautiful relationship that's going back, and you guys support each other. But you were asking me something. I went off track, I think, a little. I think, but what I'm trying to say is slow down, everybody. You know, you don't have to slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down. I just see people getting way too discouraged. They put a course up, like, and then they're like, why don't I have like a gazillion followers or a gazillion people, you know, sign up for everything like right away. So build your identity and really be a 10,000% congruent in your identity. And it's gonna, you know, you might shift. You might need to rediscover yourself. You need to, I don't know. I mean, we're all reinvent yourself. I mean, I was looking about reinventing myself. So anyway, that's what I would say. Slow down to everybody.
Oh, thank you. So talking about Quinn, your boys, you wrote a book, The Courage to Raise a Gentleman. And, you know, especially in these times as well and stuff where you're spending more time with your children, because especially in the UK, we're in lockdown, and I know there's parts of America, and I know that parents are getting to know their children more than they anticipated.
Right.
And actually, you know, and there's the other book as well, the divorce detox and stuff. Again, in these times, it's almost as if you could tell that these books were going to be so relevant in these in these times and stuff. But, you know, what made you write the Courage to Raise a Gentleman? I'm really intrigued.
It's a great question. So my dad, you know, you've heard me talk about my dad, and I was a girl. And at my dad's, when my dad passed, somebody said, you know, if you looked up Joe Chandler, he was the ultimate gentleman, you know? And I was like, oh my God, like that is like such an honor. Like he was a good man, you know? It's like, when I was writing the book, I felt like I was like just saying like the same thing over and over again, because I was like, if I really just want to talk about what does it take to be a gentleman, or what does it take to be a lady, or what does it take to be whatever, just do the right thing. You know, my dad always did the right thing. Always. You know, you never heard a mean word come out of my dad's mouth. I mean, the worst thing that would ever come out of his mouth, well, they're not a very nice person, you know? So he was just a good man. You know, if somebody needed help, he'd help them. If there was trash on the ground, he'd pick it up. And so I didn't do the book forever. And then I was like, look, my boys, I think that, you know, a lot of people would say to me that they'd say that they're just good men. And I'm like, I've done my job, right? Like with regards to it, just really teaching them just to do the right thing. You know, I remember that I got a text from somebody, and this girl, she was at Whole Foods, and I guess Quinn was there at Whole Foods. And he knew her because he knew that she was, you know, part of one of my businesses. and he'd just seen her at events before. And I guess her flip-flop broke and she tripped. And Quinn saw her trip and he helped her up and helped her carry her groceries. Quinn came home, never told me about it. And she texted me. She goes, "Oh my God, Loren, you have raised such a gentleman. Your son saw me trip on my flip-flop at Whole Foods and helped me with my groceries and helped me out." And see, Quinn wasn't like, "Hey, Mom, I saw your friend so-and-so at Whole Foods. You know, she tripped and I helped her with it." It just did the right thing, you know? And I think, dang, the world would be just a much better place if that's what we encourage people to do, not for recognition, not for any other reason other than just do the right thing. So I've heard it so many times about Joss, a gazillion. It's like, I didn't know about this one time. He was, when they had to move from New York here to Las Vegas, and the lady that cleans my house, she, I had her go over and clean the other house that he was staying at, and he handed her $100. And he goes, "You do such a great job and you take such good care of, you know, of my mom and Z's house. I just wanted you to have this." I didn't know it. You know what I mean? Somebody else told me that he did that. So for me, I know that I'm doing my job. So, and I think the reason why is they see me doing it. You know, I don't do it for recognition. Like a girl across the street at the coffee place, the tea place that I go to, you know, I wrote her a check for last year for the holidays for her kids. And my daughter Asher goes, "Did you write her a check this year?" You know, so, you know, they just watch, you know, and then they do.
Yes.
Always doing it too. So, yeah.
Oh, well, I think, you know what, when I look through the books that you've written, and, you know, I'm not going to pretend that I've read all of them, but the ones that one thing that I will say is that I look at the titles, I'm like, how relevant are they now? You know, and like the divorce detox and stuff. Oh my goodness. People are spending more time with partners than they ever thought. So it's either making them or break them. So what advice would you give for couples right now? What advice would you give for couples right now?
My husband and I used to say that the reason why our relationship worked was that we both traveled so much, right? And it's like, well, that was out the window, you know. But so I think I had taken all of my office stuff and moved it, as I said, to this other house, and I like turned it into an office. And when people would come in town, there was an extra room, and I was like so proud of myself, and moved all my crap out of there, moved everything. And then when the whole thing happened, everything, you know, my husband was so happy. The house was clean all the time. It was, you know, not my crap everywhere. And so it's not that it's everywhere. I'm actually a little OCD, but except in this space here. And so, and he worked at an office, you know what I mean? Like a real, like corporate office. Right. And so, like when everything happened, I'm like, well, that excuse is freaking like that. It's, you know, the reason our relationship works, you know, because we both travel so much. I think it's actually been really beautiful. I think we've rediscovered a whole new dimension of our relationship. We didn't even know even existed, because we've been married for 7.5 years now, but I think that rediscovering that was good. What else would I say with couple? Be patient with each other. You know, it's hard for everybody, you know. I mean, I've always worked from home, so it wasn't a big switch for me, other than, you know, when I moved it into the office space. My husband was not used to working from home. So with all of this life happening around you, the dogs needing to go out every 2.5 minutes, you know, when workers come over. And so it's big. I think just be patient with each other is a really important thing that I would say. Put some rituals in place to do together. My husband and I, you know, really got in a good rhythm of like us, at least like going for a walk with the dogs, like not as much as, I mean, he takes them every day for the walk, but when we do, like getting in those rituals of doing those things. We also have made it I think that I'm more productive than ever before, because we set boundaries, whether it's, and that is meaning like at 7 o'clock, everything's off. I mean, it's my time to be with him, even though I want to hide my phone and like be on my phone. I'm not because I know that the most important is my relationship. So, yeah, so I think that that's been really great, you know, with regard. I mean, I'm not going to say it's been easy.
No.
I don't think for anybody, I think that would be a lie if I said that it's been easy. I think that, you know, but it's been, I mean, we've got our houses like our house cleaner, she used to come like 4 days a week. Now she's like, I'm like, there's nothing for her to like clean because we like gotten rid of all the junk, right? We Marie Kondoed our house, you know, with regards to it. So that's been good. And we redid our home, but yeah, that's what I would say. Be patient with each other. You know, you don't understand that it's hard for everybody. So
yeah. So a bit of fun. So one of the things that you took, well, it's a bit of fun, but also I have a feeling that there's a personal message in there, because normally when you come on stage, you tell people that, I know, right? You rock onto stage and you go, I'm wearing these shoes for you. And then you pull out your amazing boots and you say, I'm wearing these boots for me. Right. So one, I want to know what that means to you, and what's behind that.
Great question.
Listen, I'm coming out here. So
your mic is kind of disappearing.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
It's all that beautiful hair.
Is it? Can you hear me now?
Your mic. Let's see. What does that mean? Yeah, that's a great question. I love that. So what does it mean? What does that mean for me? So basically I'll wear like these Louboutin shoes, which it seems like for so many people that is like you've succeeded when you have a pair of Louboutins that are funky, whatever. Like I kept hearing, I was at this event and it was actually in Birmingham. No, Bournemouth. It was in Bournemouth, I think, over in the UK. And all these girls, you know, they were talking about getting a pair of Louboutin shoes. God bless them, because they are the most miserably uncomfortable shoes ever. Sorry, I know I'll never be sponsored by Louboutin because they're not comfortable. So that's what I said. So I own the shoes. I bought the shoes. I remember when I bought the first pair of Louboutin shoes, though. They were just some black Louboutins. And I was going through my divorce. Okay. And I made it a must when I had no money, you know, like even though I was doing well, before I took a bite, I had already spent like 14 grand because I had all my kids in private school. I had to pay my rent, my car payments. So before I even took a bite, you know, my 6-figure check at the time was gone. Right. So I think that's where people make lots of assumptions, because might look like someone's doing well. That's why I always say to people, you know, maybe there's something you don't know. But I remember when I went through that time, I remember exactly where I was with my friend, Margaret Harrington. She had a pair of the Louboutins on, and I was like, I don't have, she goes, oh, you need to get yourself some Louboutins. I go, I can't right now. That's like, you know? Yeah. And she goes, how about this? She goes, I'll put them on my credit card. This is another person. I want you to realize like what friends and what community, why it's so important. Okay. Yeah. And she goes, all right, I'll put it on my card. And I think they were $980 or something. She goes, I'll put it on my card. She goes, how much can you pay me a month? And I go, how about $200 a month? You know, just until like in that. And I remember it was like 3, 4 months, whatever. And I paid off the card, paid off the shoes. And I bought the Louboutin shoes and some Renoa luggage, you know, that luggage. And I think that what that did for me was say, I'm worth it, you know. The real thing, it wasn't about the stuff. It was that belief that I was worth it. So I'm like, I have these shoes, these fancy Louboutin shoes. All right, here they are. If you think that's what success is to you, but for me, it's wearing my Swarovski crystal cowboy boots, you know, that are me and that are true to myself. So that's that's funny that you watched that. That's awesome. So yeah,
I love it, because even after we saw you on Life Mastery in Tenerife, you would just post pictures just of your boots in some airport somewhere. Yeah. And I love those posts because those posts got so many comments. Like it just meant so much. Yeah. The message behind them
almost
was incredible.
I'm like, where's Waldo? Like people just start following me. Well, the story about the boots is actually a really interesting one. Was I had those on my manifestation board, and the goal was that when I reached a certain, pay, a certain like goal income wise with one of my businesses, that I was going to buy myself those boots.
Right.
And, so that was kind of like my prize for myself, right? I was going to give it to him. So my husband and I, it was my boyfriend at the time, we were at the foundation room, which is at the top of Mandalay Bay, and I just done a big event. Actually, it's funny. It was this coming weekend, 6 years ago, probably 6 years ago.
Wow.
And we were up there with a bunch of friends, and our friends, my friend, actually the one with the $2,500 one, were up there, and there were a bunch of us, about 20 people up there, and we were going to go ride with them in their car, after we left the foundation room, and we go down, and I think he thought he parked in at the Mandalay Bay, but there's also a hotel called the Delano, so they're all in the same, but they kind of split off. So we start walking down to the valet part, and he goes, "Oh no," he goes, "that's not where I parked. I parked in the Delano." So we start walking through the hotel, and I just told my friend Suzanne the story about what I was going to do when I, reached that certain pay, and she's look. And so we walk past the shoe store, and she goes, oh my God, Loren, those boots, they're in there. And I'm like, what? She goes, the boots. And so oh my gosh, my husband's listening. Are you
He should come and say hello.
Yeah, he's here. So I said, so he hands me his credit card, and he goes, go get him. He goes, go get him. And I'm like, are you sure? And like, he's my boyfriend at the time. He wasn't.
Right.
So it would have been, maybe it would have been 7 years ago. And so he goes, yeah, go get him. And I'm like, oh my God. And like, is he kidding me? And so like, he handed me his credit card, and I buy the boots, and I'm like dancing all through the casino, and I'm like crazy. The next day he comes up, he wakes me up, and he goes, you didn't tell me how much those boots were.
I love it.
And I go, you didn't ask how much those boots were. So that, and you know what happened in the meantime? In the meantime, I bought myself another pair of those boots. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But to me, what it is
oh, we've lost her. We've lost Loren, but that's okay, because I reckon she's going to come back. I reckon she's going to go back. She has to come back and finish that amazing story. That's wonderful. Can you believe that?
We lost each other.
We lost each other. That's okay.
We lost each other. We're back.
That's all right. That's okay. We're here. That's live, and I love it.
Your headphones are still. Anyway, that's what it represents to me, is that I'm worth it. Whether I want a pair of Louboutins, whether I want a pair of boots, I deserve it. And I think that that's been a big message for me, is that
can you hear me?
Are you there? Sorry, my mom.
I'm here. Oh, it's okay.
I think that everybody just needs to get back to, be a little bit nicer to yourself. Be a little bit, be a little bit more patient.
Yes.
Love the hard. It's going to be okay. Yes, it's been winter. It's been hard.
Yes.
I'm not available. She keeps calling me. Like just a couple days ago, she like freaked out because she had the vaccine, and she told her that the vaccine wasn't gonna. She was on some medication, and that the vaccine was gonna like just that it was gonna kind of like cancel out. Her medicine was gonna cancel out the vaccine, and I'm like, Mom, don't believe everything you hear. So anyway, she just texted me that it's there. She's okay with her meds. But anyway,
Bless
be
her.
a little bit patient, accept the hard, embrace the hard, and just, yeah, that's about it. What else? That's great.
So, oh no, thank you. For me, it's all about sort of like getting to know the person behind this and stuff, because at the end of the day, most people see you on stage. And even though you're vulnerable enough on stage, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you great.
Yeah. So even though you're vulnerable on stage, for me, there's always a history behind, and it's really useful to just watch the person behind, just behind that, rather than the teacher, because it's you've always been honest about your struggles and your life and where you've come from. Like there's a story, you've told a story where you lost everything, right?
Yeah.
Where you lost everything, and people. Sorry, go on.
Where American Express said, "Please leave home without me." Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So people don't see that, and I love the healing that you do through what you've been through. And when I saw those boots, I was like, okay, there's a story behind the boots. There's a story that maybe she's not had a chance to tell us, or when she's told us, I've not been around to listen. Now, I want to go to a different whole level, because we're more than halfway through. Now, one thing that I will say, and this is my experience, is that you support women a lot. You support women a lot, and you talk about women connecting to their crown. And before I ask you what that means, and to put context to that, I want to say thank you, because you got me on stage. She's wearing a crown. I was wondering what you were reaching for. Yeah, exactly. And my logo is like a crown and what have you, and and I really do believe that. I want to say thank you, because you got me on stage and I spoke to over 500 people at a Tony Robbins event. Then you asked me to come and cook for you. Unfortunately, lockdown didn't allow, but you asked me to come and cook for your event. Mm-hmm. And then you held the space when I got gifted flights to go to Africa, where I went and got anointed as an oracle, as an African oracle. And I just want to say thank you, because you have always held the space and you've always acknowledged that. And I know how busy you are, and yet you still do those things. You still acknowledge. I remember when lockdown had started, you posted and went, "Victoria, I haven't forgotten you. We will work together one day, I promise." And I'm looking at the post, I'm like, I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, this girl crazy. She's busy. There's lockdown. I know she's got a family of 4.
Because you matter. No, because you matter, Victoria.
Thank you.
That's the thing I think that I won't send it unless I mean it.
Right.
For me, it's like, I don't poop rainbows. You know what I mean?
No.
I mean, it's like when I feel a connection with people and I decide that there are certain people that I really want in my life, mm-hmm. I collect friends. When I collect friends, I collect a faculty. Like I said, this academy for me is really, once again, I can't say, there's a lot of people that come to me and, I want to work with you. I want to do things with you. And I have to say, look, you have to at least understand, a good friend of mine, she's definitely going to be a part of this because she's been to the events. She understands who I am. She understands the message, about being badass and beautiful. And so, so for me, it's really important, kind of like with Tony, with his leadership academy, you can't ask somebody to be part of leadership if they haven't been to mastery, what I mean? So I'm really committed to creating friggin' the most badass group of women coming together, where we really are those with the solutions for people. And my friend downstairs, she's downstairs in my house right now. I've known her for 30 years, and I would do anything for her. You know what I mean? Because she's been to everything that I've done. She didn't just ask to come work with me. She's like, I'll come to the event, I'll experience it, I'll know what it's about. and then decide if it's a fit, because everybody has to know if it's a fit. But I champion for women, I think, for a couple reasons. I think that because we have so many roles of things, you might have heard when I did the podcast with Tony, and
Yes.
I was like, why do you have so many women in leadership? And he's like, well, women there's so many different, we have so many more roles than men do. And, like, with regards to that. And I think that the one word that I always hear from people, especially women, is they go, I'm tired. They're tired. And what I truly believe is that they're more tired of trying to do it all on their own. There's that martyr that goes through for so many women. And I don't know. I mean, I think that I really do know hyperbole that we're stronger together, but we really are stronger together. It's been said, and then I remember talking to my friend Philip when I went over to Malawi with him, and why Oprah created what she did and why Madonna created what they did, because the success of a country is determined by how you empower the women. That determines the success of a country. So are we doing those things? What are we doing now within even lockdowns in countries to empower our, what are we doing to empower the women right now, when there's a lot of women who aren't able to do their careers maybe the way that they used to, because they had to pick up, and now are having to do more things at home and having to take on home and family and all of those type of things, and right. So I think that more now than ever. But I mean, I look at your wins are my wins are your wins. I think that's the kind of friendship that I feel that we've created with each other. So and I want more of it.
Amen. Same here. And it's an absolute pleasure. I mean, one of the things I say to women is that our intuition is our power. And if we come together and if we just connect to our highest power, we can heal and create and transform the world at a level that probably isn't even known to us.
I think the challenge is there's too much noise, there's a lot of noise. I mean, I know for myself that anytime that I get distracted by the noise around me, it feels like everything just kind of, it's just like, I remember it was like, you gotta get on Clubhouse. And then I was on Clubhouse for like 10 hours a day. You know what I mean? And I'm like, noise. How do I take this and be intentional with my time wherever I do it? You know what I mean? So like, just got on Clubhouse and I listened to somebody great and realized, oh my God, that was exactly what I needed to hear. Somebody that I know and respect. And I've been putting off on kind of doing work with his platform on some things, but he knew who I was. And he's like, Loren, just call me. You know what I mean? I'll get you going, type of thing. So I think just being intentional versus listening to the noise.
Yeah, I love it. So I run rooms on Clubhouse, and today I actually committed to going on for 15 minutes. And it was to say hello. And I went in and my room filled up and I said, guys, I'm on for 15 minutes. I want to wish you love for the morning. I want to see how you're all doing and I'll give you a bump up for your day. And after 15 minutes, I went out. And it was so much more rewarding than some of the 3-hour rooms that I sometimes do, or the 7-hour rooms that I sometimes do. So I hear what you're saying. So we're almost there. What don't you know, Loren Lahav? What don't you know?
No, I don't know why. What don't I know? There's a lot I don't know. I don't know a lot of languages. I really wish I would have made that a priority. Even during lockdown, I made my husband, I said, teach me some Hebrew. I know that Kelev is dog in Hebrew. I know that. But I don't know a lot of languages. I really respect people that do know languages. I don't know how to market myself very well. I need a really good marketing person. How about that? What don't I know? I don't know. I'm always learning. I want to learn. I want to grow. I don't know. I don't know why people can't just be happy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why people feel that they have to, why they can't forgive, or why they can't. I don't know. I don't know, because I just feel like every day is such a gift. I really do believe that. And I don't know why there has to be so much hate, I guess is what I say. But you ask me what I don't know. I think it's more of a feeling like I don't understand. So I guess for me, what drives me so much is I feel like I can just at least give what I know how to give to the world. And maybe someday one person that wasn't going to wake up might wake up by my actions because they saw me living it. That's what I would say.
I love it. I love that. That was beautiful. And that was raw. I love that. I love that don't know exercise. And what shoes are you wearing today?
I'm wearing.
Look at those. They're cute. They're cute. They're cute. For those who are watching on audio, she's just shown us some beautiful heeled black ankle boots. They're stunning. Oh, Loren. Well, one thing I want to say is congratulations on your new podcast, because I know is that a new venture? Because I haven't seen you do that before, right?
No,
so
I've had about 58 episodes. I just need to be more consistent with it. Yeah.
Because you posted one with Tony, and I was like, oh, that's her first one. So no, it's not.
No.
Well, congratulations on the one with Tony anyway and stuff, because it's incredible. And, I hope it's doing well. And, I just want to say thanks so much for coming on. And I value you. I honor you. And for all the messages that you've just dropped in here, the gems, I hope and pray that it reaches so many people so that they can take advantage of this.
You too, my love, and I am very proud of you, and I can't wait to see you and have you here for the next live event that we do. So
much love.
Maybe we'll just have to do it and do it virtually and figure.
We'll do it virtually. Yeah, exactly.
Really,
well, much love. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks, Loren. Speak to you soon. Bye.